Great morning. Great morning. You guys come on in. While you all are coming in, I'm going to go ahead and share this broadcast. Great morning. Turn this volume down. Okay. Hey, you guys, let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. Girl, well, listen, well, you're going to get a few minutes of it then, April. You get these few minutes, catch the rest when you get back, okay? Listen, you guys, I'm super excited to see you guys. I missed you guys yesterday, but yesterday was a very full day for me. Oh, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. How about that? Y'all see I got my hair did. Can't tell me nothing. Hey, in Tanzania, how are you? Shout out to my girl, Angel Franklin. She took care of my hair for me. She hooked me up. If you're in the Tampa Bay area, get touched by Angel, honey. I'm telling you, you won't forget that touch. Hey, baby. Listen, you talking about the couch. You tuning in from the couch, baby. Hey, Stacy. Great morning. Great morning. You all listen. I'm not going to take a long time, but I do want to share this word with you because I think it's one that we probably don't hear enough or we don't take seriously enough. And that is check you, boo. Check you. I don't know if y'all remember from Real Housewives of Atlanta when Sheree said, who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me, boo? Right? Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? Listen, you check you. You check you. I've been noticing this pattern, right? When you look at people who are evolved, when you look at people who are content, when you look at people who have joy, when you look at people who are experiencing true success, I'm not just talking about they have material things, they have money, they have a house, they have a car, but I'm talking about who are living a contented, fulfilled life. It doesn't mean their life is perfect or without problems or without issues, but I'm saying they're living a contented, fulfilled life. You'll notice something. They check themselves. They're not afraid to engage in self-evaluation, self-examination. They're not afraid to be honest with themselves about themselves, right? When you get to a place where you are willing to check you, then God can use you in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. I like checking me. First of all, I don't like nobody else to tell me what to do. That's number one. Sis. Can somebody else tell us what to do?
Shoot. We have to have Nathan's like David did.
You need to give me a parable.
Right.
You need to give me a parable and let me be outraged and then say, but that's you. You're like, oh, that's me. Oh, you're right. You're right. But sis, you know what I noticed? Even when God checks me, because, I've shared some things with you where God checked me. It's always like that. It's always one of those things where he's like, well, you did such and such and such. How you going to be looking at somebody else sideways? I'll be like, ouch. Well, God, did you have to say it like that? Did you have to like throw my stuff and myself all up in my face like that? Listen, you got to be willing and able to check you and not feel like you got it all together. You got it all figured out. The one thing I know about me, I'm flawed. I'm flawed. I'm a mess up. But I know a lot of the times what my mess ups are. I know when I'm messing up. I just choose to mess up. If I choose to mess up, then I'm going to have to go back and fix it. I'm going to have to go back and correct it. But I got to be honest with me about me. I'm not consumed with people's thoughts about me, because what really matters is what is God thinking about me? What is God saying about me? And the fact that God says that he who began a good work in me is faithful and just to bring it to completion until the coming of Christ lets me know that he ain't gave up on me. And if he ain't gave up on me, who am I to give up on me? Who am I to give up on me? No, I just have to take the journey. I have to do the work. I have to allow myself to go through the processes that I have to go through. And I got to be honest with myself along the way. I was talking to my husband this morning and I told him, I said, listen, I know I can be passive aggressive. I already know. That's why I try to check myself. See, there are things that I know about me that I have to consciously, and this is why I tell people, listen, don't bring the old me out, because I promise you, whatever you do, I will outdo you in it because I'm that competitive. That's what I'm going to say. If you being petty, I can out petty you. If you being slick at the mouth, I can out slick you. This tongue is fierce now. Listen, my mouth. Oh my God. Listen, because of the way my brain works, how quick it is. You know, I used to do stand-up comedy. I got some jokes. I try not to go too far because I know I can go too far. Okay. So I'm very aware of me and who I am, but I'm also very aware of God's standard for me. I can't do what I want to do. He makes me apologize. He makes me repent. And I don't mean makes me as in he beats me or he twists my arm, but because he knows how much I love him, he knows how much I want to please him. He knows how serious I am about getting to destiny. He's like, nah, you can't. We can't let that slide. I'll be like, oh. So I have to be willing to check me. And what I'm telling you is, if you will check you, then other people won't have to. If you check you, then other people don't have to check you. But if someone does, if they do, just understand that every check is not meant to destroy you. Some are meant to save you. I have some people in my life who can check me, you know. They can say, sis, babe, and they can say whatever they're going to say. I get to choose what I do with it. But you got to have some people in your life who aren't scared to tell you the truth. Now, you can tell me the truth, and I might not respond to the truth that you're telling me right then, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true. I may not act on it right then. You may not see the immediate result of it, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't heard. We've got to be able to check ourselves, and then we've got to be willing to allow people to do what they are going to do when we are called upon to be a Nathan in their life. Better to be a Nathan and bring the parable so that they can begin to see and make connection. Because a lot of times with people, like, the problem is that they don't get it. They don't understand what the problem is. Nobody else has complained about this. Why are you complaining about this? Nobody else is saying this. Why are you saying that this is? I don't believe you because nobody else has said it. But just because nobody says it to your face doesn't mean they're not saying it. And when we get that, we get to choose what we do with it. No one can ever make you do anything. Every decision that you make is a conscious and a deliberate choice. Choose to check you. Choose to examine you. I love spending time with my sister Tammy because, listen, honey, she's a therapist, honey. But it be our therapeutic conversations where we dig into the psychology, we dig into behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Like, we get into all of that stuff. Like, I love that stuff, right? And she does too. And then we get into the physiological side because, you know, I'm into the epigenetics and the physiology of it and pulling all the pieces together and stuff. When we have our conversations, people be thinking our conversations be about other people, but we be talking about us. We're talking about us. We talk about us, our journey, our stuff, where we are, where we're going, how do we get there? And we're honest with each other. But we're not mean. See, this is the thing. Some people say, oh, I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. I'm just going to keep it 100. But you nasty. And really, you're being mean because really there's some other stuff there. I love my sister too much to say anything to her that is going to damage her. Like, I love, even if it's something that she doesn't agree with, that I'm not going to say it in a way that hurts her to her core, that causes her to question her value as a human being. I'll never do that. And that's not love. So the next time, you know, somebody try to check you like that and say they love you, I'm just telling you because I love you. No, nigga, you don't love. Ooh. No, you don't love me. You don't love me. You probably got some low-key jealousy and you've been waiting for an opportunity to find something wrong with me. A lot of the people that call themselves telling you stuff out of love really got some issues with you, right? Y'all know that in every joke, there's a kernel of truth. In everything that we say, oh, I'm just playing, I'm just playing. you ain't really playing. Like, we've got to understand that. My sister put a post up one time. She put a post up. I had said something to my brother. I know she wasn't throwing a subliminal, but she put this post up and it said, it's not what you say to somebody, it's how you say it. I know he had talked to her and told her his feelings was hurt. I know. I get it, right? But she was right. She was right, even in the messaging. She was right. So she would have posted, it's not what you say to somebody, it's how you say it, because maybe they can hear it better, right? So I had to call my brother, listen, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. And I had to tell him, I'm part looker, right? So sometimes the look at me come out because I be like, looker. So, but that doesn't excuse the fact that it hurt him. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't excuse the fact that it hurt. Y'all, listen, people knowing us, it's not an excuse for hurting them. It's not an excuse for us being passive aggressive, because really I was being passive aggressive. That's what I was being. I was being passive aggressive because I really, I was feeling some way about some stuff. I really was feeling a way about some stuff, and I was being passive aggressive, and that's how it came out. So it wasn't just jokes. It wasn't, it was really, yeah, that's a part of me that's really upset with you. And so let me go on and say this, because listen, even though I can't even say that. I was going to say, even though I wasn't trying to hurt him, but I was. If I'm honest, I was. I wanted him to understand the hurt that I felt, and I did it in a passive aggressive way. Passive aggressive behavior is very real, and more of us probably engage in it than want to admit it. But I'm telling you, listen, because I know that pleaser is one of the saboteurs that I deal with, and that desire to please people, to be liked, loved, and accepted. When you've poured out and you've gone out of your way and you've done all this, and then people don't, and they take it, and then you feeling some type of way, right? It can come out in passive aggressiveness. But I don't want to be passive aggressive, which is why I apologized. Because I knew I was being passive aggressive. I had to apologize. Make it right. Check yourself, right? And even though my sister's post provided a check, right? And it may not have been directed at me. Like, it could have just been a general post. But y'all know how you be at church and the pastor's preaching and you feel like, why they all in my business? I'm like, sis, do you ever have people who be like, Pastor, I can't believe, Apostle, I can't believe that you was talking about me. When they don't even be on your mind.
Girl, somebody just left the church a month ago, said I was talking about them over the pulpit.
Yeah.
I was talking about them over the pulpit.
The thing is, sometimes it's just something that, God promotes you to say. He provokes you to say it. And sometimes you're being a Nathan. You're being a Nathan. You're providing a general scenario that can help a lot of people, because a lot of people deal with the same things, right? And it just so happens that you may be the person that also deals with that, right? But nonetheless, I needed it. See, I'm clear that anything that happens isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. So if you find yourself in a place and it seems like the pastor's talking about you, but it's something that you struggle with, baby, accept that correction and address it. Deal with it instead of looking at it like, I can't believe they was talking about me. Like, wow, God cared enough about me to give them a message that ministered to the very thing that I'm dealing with. No, we don't do that. We take it as a personal attack. Everything is not a personal attack. Do I think that my sister was launching a personal attack on me when she put that post up? No, but I think that she was making a point. which is an important point for us to understand, is that it's not just what you say, it's how you say it, right? It's the context in which you do it. It's the spirit in which you do it. My spirit wasn't right in it. I know my spirit wasn't right. I can admit that. Now, this is the problem. Y'all, this is the problem that I have. The problem that I have is everybody ain't me. Everybody ain't going to admit. They're not. They're not going to admit that they feel a way. They're not going to admit that, something has bothered them. They're not going to admit it, right? That's not my business, though. And I can't get stuck there. What I can do is check me. I can't check you and not check me. I can't be more concerned with checking everybody else and helping everybody else get their life together and not deal with me. For too long in my life, I had the solutions for everybody else, but I wasn't applying them to my life the way I needed to. If I'd been applying them to my life the way I needed to, then I would have been further along. But I wasn't, because I was so busy trying to help everybody else and fix everybody else in an effort to avoid fixing me and dealing with me. I'm speaking from personal experience that it's important that you check yourself. Check you. The next time you're tempted to check somebody else, check you first. Check you. And if after you check you, you still got some time and energy to check somebody else, okay. I just know for me, it's a lot getting me to destiny. It's a lot dealing with me. And not because I'm a horrible person, but because I'm a person and I'm human. Because I have trauma that I'm still processing through. Because I've experienced things that have affected me. Because I play all these different roles and wear all these different hats. And there's so many different aspects of me that are being pulled on and tugged on. Like, there's a lot to just dealing with me. There's a lot. And so I try to spend my energy dealing with me. Not to say that I'm not concerned about anybody else. Clearly I am. It's why I do these lives, because maybe, just maybe, something I share with you about me will help you see you in it and address you. I try to avoid only focusing on negatives in people, because it's easy for us to start feeling like someone only sees what's wrong with us, right? So I try to make sure that if there's something that I'm led to address, that I address it in a way that isn't attacking, that isn't trying to make somebody feel less than, that isn't that. Because at the end of the day, for real, when we love people, we want to see them be better. And sometimes we think that seeing somebody be better means that we've got to just point out what's wrong and not deal with the amazing things about them. So check you first. Check you, deal with you. If you want to help somebody else, be an example of what checking you looks like. Don't tell them, oh, you need to check you. No, check you in front of them. Check you in public. Check you in a way that they can see you checking you. My daddy gave me one of the greatest compliments. He had made a decision. He had gone and he had apologized to his previous wives and baby mamas, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. When I say baby, his children's mothers, let me say that. And he said, I said, Daddy, I'm so proud of you. He said, being around you has allowed me to see some things, and you inspire me. Yeah, I'm not perfect, far from it. But this one thing I do, forgetting those things would lie behind. I press on toward the mark of the high calling in Christ Jesus. And the high calling really is dealing with you. One thing about it is, if you can deal with you and you can get a blueprint for how you dealt with you, then maybe you can help someone else deal with them. Try it. Today, take a moment and check you. See what God says. Look, I am doing the Destiny Driven Masterclass on April 30th. Listen, I remember when I first did this live, God gave me just, your assignment God's way. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I was doing it, but it turned into a whole thing where he just mapped out this whole destiny driven program. He emphasized the difference between being purpose driven and destiny driven. You can be living your life in purpose and never get to your destiny. You can live your life in purpose and still not get to your destiny, because destiny requires evolution. It requires you to change. It requires you to check you. And sometimes it's easier for us to just do what we're purposed to do without really doing anything to deal with us. That's another piece of the equation when it comes to getting to destiny. You can register for the Destiny Driven Masterclass at bit.ly/Destiny Driven Masterclass 1, bit.ly/Destiny Driven Masterclass 1. Afterpay is available. It's only $50, y'all. But I promise you this, it's going to give you a roadmap and some help and some guidance on how to identify your purpose, how to identify your blockages, what's preventing you, what's prevented you from getting to destiny, what's holding you up, what's holding you back. You know that you're the holdup, but you're also the key. Isn't that an amazing thing? That while you may be the holdup, you're also the key. You're also the solution. What, God? Yeah, he builds us like that. So go register for the Destiny Driven Masterclass. I'm going to be launching Destiny Driven, A Journey to Greatness. It's a 12-week program. It's going to start in May. So in order to do that, you need to take the masterclass first. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, God is getting us to our destiny one way or the other, but it all begins with you checking you. So who gonna check you, boo? You need to check you. And if you check you, you'll be surprised at what happens. Listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Join me for Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes, our Sunday fellowship. It happens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central. Don't miss it. God has a word. I don't know what it is yet, but I will. Listen, I love you guys. Have an amazing day and be blessed.